I'm in the office of Doug Gregory, and I did internship here at the University of Florida, Monroe County Extension Service, and Doug is the director. And Doug also, let's see, you teach solar classes out at the Florida Keys Community College?
Right, solar installation classes for local contractors.
Great. Now, I asked you to go with me over to Kelly's Caribbean Bar and Grill. Can you explain to us what we did when we went there?
Well, we did a preliminary site survey of the area because they were interested in putting a solar hot water system.
Okay, hold it.
Restaurant.
Turn it off. While we were at Kelly's Caribbean Bar and Grill, what did we do?
Well, they wanted to install a solar hot water system for the restaurant. And we went over and did a site survey, looked at the condition of the roof, the orientation of the roof to the sun, and to make sure there was no shading on the roof that would interfere with the production of hot water. And the preliminary site survey looked very good, so I referred them to a couple of local contractors for them to follow up. And
Okay. Now, what was that machine that we had that you used?
that was a solar pathfinder. It's a little gadget that no matter what time of the year it is, it'll tell you where the shade will be in that location year round.
Wow. So you really, it's not that easy to put a solar panel up someplace. You really have to do a lot of calculations.
Right, you really want to make sure that the panel has no shade on it from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is when we get the most radiation from the sun. And then we get the highest production of hot water for a hot water system or electricity from a solar photovoltaic system.
Right. Actually, the southern Florida is really ideal for solar, right?
Very much so. We do have afternoon rains in the summertime, but that doesn't interfere with overall production.
Now, I was looking at some of the costs. Isn't it rather costly to try and put up solar?
Solar hot water systems are not that costly. For a house, you could probably do it for $4,000 or $5,000, and it will reduce your electric bill by 10 to 15% right away. For an electric system, photovoltaic system, it would probably be $10 to $20 to $30,000. So the initial costs are pretty steep for that, but from that point forward, you've reduced your utility bill by 50 to 60%.
Do you think that over the next 10 years that maybe solar energy, especially with our new president saying that we're going to harness the sun and the wind and things like that, and with the tax credits, do you think that you will see more solar paneling going up?
Oh, it's inevitable. The technology, the innovations in technology are just going at a rapid pace. The public is more and more interested in installing solar systems, and what I'm trying to do is help train local people to be prepared for that day when we do have a rush of requests.
What about the fact I read something, it's like it doesn't make any sense to put solar up if it's made in a foreign country and the cost of bringing it over here. So have you ever thought about that? The transportation cost, or the fact that if we do solar, we need to buy solar local or within our own country?
It's hard to say if that makes that big of a difference, because shipment from overseas is done in such a mass quantity that it may be more costly. Like, it's similar to buying your food locally.
Right.
You know, if you're buying food within the state and it's being shipped by truck, it may be emitting more carbon dioxide than something shipped across the ocean by ship, because of the quantity of products being shipped. But a lot of our material is being made in Germany, Japan,
Okay.
and in the United States.
Okay.
And it's hard to make that distinction. I think a lot of people do want to favor U.S. produced products.
Now, when I was interning with you, which was great, I had really enjoyed myself, and I learned a lot. We discussed about what my thesis was going to be, and I kind of talked about greening a restaurant, and we both got into the theory of the natural step. And tell me, how do you feel about using that as for the community and for businesses as a foundation for going into being more green?
It's really the way it's called the natural step. It's also the easy step. instead of just looking at how much something costs you in the short term, also look at how much this decision is going to impact the environment. Is it going to increase the pollution? Is it going to increase our dependency on non-renewable resources? Is it going to benefit other people? So with those sort of questions, in addition to how much does it cost, you can start to build a framework for making a decision in personally, in the business,
Right.
in the community, or a government agency that is beneficial overall.
Well, I know I was really impressed with it. I got into it when I was doing my Elm 530, and that's why after talking to you, I thought, well, this is where I need to start. So that's
Great.
good. Yeah,
That's good.
very excited about it. And it really, in working up with my thesis, it really has given me a stepping stone to accomplish what we want to. And the fact that under the natural step, you can also look at what you've accomplished and go back and change it if it's not working. I mean, it's
Right.
setting goals and having a vision and going through the process. Now, you work with, you're the director here of the University of Florida Extension Service. Now, how do you, what is your role with the Extension Service and working with the community in an environmental?
Well, in addition to being the director of the office and overseeing the administrative part, I work mostly with the marine fisheries constituents, commercial fishermen, charter boat fishermen, recreational fishermen, and the government agencies. And only recently, since say 2005, have we been trying to develop a program in energy and renewables. And that's why I got interested in solar and decided to learn that well enough to teach others how to install solar systems.
Now, do the fishing boats use any kind of alternative energy?
Not at this point, because they use diesel and they use a lot of it. And so the access to biodiesel or vegetable oil and those alternatives, there's not enough of that to develop a consistent market.
You know, with all the restaurants here in Key West, and we serve fish, and you can have sustainable beef, which is grass-grown beef, and also in being considered a green certified restaurant, you could serve sustainable fish. So I guess we do have sustainable fish in our restaurants, right?
Right. Well, most of the products that are harvested in the Keys are sustainable. And not just from a biological sense, because they're all sustainable, but also from the environmental sense. They're being managed appropriately. They're not being overfished. There's no permanent damage to the environment being conducted by the fishing operations.
Great. That's good news. I read in the paper the other day where they've disallowed fishing for red snapper. Was it red snapper?
Right.
I think?
Yes.
Yeah. And now how does that affect the fishermen in the local?
In the Keys, it doesn't. We don't catch red snapper.
Okay.
Red snapper is more of a temperate species. Most snappers we catch are yellowtail snapper, gray snapper, mutton snapper, cubero snapper.
Okay, so that's not going to hurt our fishermen.
No.
Okay, well, it's been great visiting with you. And like I
Okay.
said, I really enjoyed working with University of Florida Extension Service. And thank you for helping me with my thesis.
It's been great having you. Thank you.